Hello, those images you just saw are from a very cold and windy and very dull Duluth. So here inside it's a much better environment as we look at number 11, Joseph, master of dreams. And this is the beginning of the story of Joseph, which extends throughout many chapters there in Genesis and is a very appealing story, I could even say, because it brings resolution. But we don't get to that very quickly. We start off with this very dysfunctional family continuing on from the dysfunctions that were there previously. And here you have Joseph, who's a favorite, and the other brothers becoming jealous and eventually kind of hating Joseph for not only being the favorite, but because of his dreams, and saying, all you brothers, these shooks of corn, bowed down to me, and even the sun and the moon, father and son, you came down and bowed towards me. And what does that say? Was Joseph just naive or whatever? He had these dreams and he shared them without really thinking of how that they would be perceived and how his brothers were going to react. And so when they have the opportunity, they do these terrible things to Joseph. I mean, this is truly demonically inspired, as I put there in the notes for this time. They fabricate the evidence of his death, knowing what that would do to his father. They sell Joseph into slavery and perhaps even death at the hands of his masters, and their contempt for his life is inexcusable. Whatever the issue there with Joseph really was in terms of the way that Joseph treated them. So as we think about that, we need to say from the start that their attitude was completely wrong, and that in all that they did, they were following the plans of the Prince of Darkness. This is kind of way he would operate, and not the way that somebody who was a follower of God. Yes, there were challenges in the family, but that doesn't excuse what they did. Joseph, he complains about being thrown into the pit, obviously. He probably complained about being sold to those traders. I'm sure once he arrived in Egypt, he was saying, well, this isn't good. I'm not appreciating this. It goes from bad to worse, doesn't it? He has those negative experiences there with the family. Then he's a slave. Then he ends up in Potiphar's house, and he's doing kind of well as a slave, still a slave, but he's put in charge of Potiphar's dealings and all that happens there in the household. But then Potiphar's wife tries to seduce him and then kind of exposes him and really does some terrible thing by accusing Joseph of, well, basically rape. And he's thrown into jail. And once he's in jail, he says, okay, Lord, where are you? I'm sure he prayed like that. Help me out here. I need to get out of here. I need to live my life. And then you have the story of the cupbearer and the king's baker, and he interprets their dreams, and well, the baker dies, but the cupbearer, he gets out and he immediately forgets all about Joseph as well, until the king has those dreams and he says, oh, by the way, I just remembered something. This could be important. And that's when Joseph comes out of obscurity, really. And we're going to see next time what happens in the whole story of Joseph and how eventually there's kind of some resolution with his brothers. But the main point of the story I want to look at is Joseph and his reaction to all these negative experiences. He doesn't give up. He doesn't say, well, what did Job's wife say? Curse God and die. No, he still holds on. We're not given any record of his prayers or anything like that, but he still does what he can and he helps people. Even when he's put in jail, he's actually running the jail. You put this prisoner in charge because he's so good at doing business and all that sort of thing. He's a very confident person, a very able person. And that stands him in great good stead for the future, as we will see. But for the moment, I think what we should concentrate on is his confidence, his ability, the gifts of God that he clearly had as he tries to witness in a very difficult place and eventually become somebody of huge importance and of great significance in God's plan of salvation. Let's think about that as we study this week.